Hi Farida, could you introduce yourself?
I'd be very happy to. My name is Farida Sharan. I'm a naturopath, a master herbalist, an iridologist, and a person who began in this work by healing my own illness, which was breast cancer. And when that happened to me in the 1970s, I had this feeling that if I was going to die, I was not going to die in a hospital because they wanted to remove my breast. And I just somehow had this feeling that if I was going to die, I wanted to die like an Indian. And I've thought about that a lot over the years, and I thought, where did that thought come from? But I loved National Geographics when I was a child, and I read a lot of historical books about indigenous cultures. And so I took myself up into the mountains with herbs that I had bought in the one herb shop that at that time existed in Los Angeles, California. And I took the herbs and I fasted and I healed myself. And it took about 2 years entirely, because after my first experience up in the mountains where I was taking the herbs and fasting, I went and lived in a healing center where I also did a 40-day cleanse and made sun tea with natural herbs and made juices. And at that time, it was about the 2-year mark, I had 9 boils come out of my arm, and from the breast where I'd had the breast cancer. And this was 37 years ago. And from that experience with food and herbs and cleansing, I began to understand very, very deep levels of wisdom about how a person can change illness into health.
I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about your feeling for herbs and herbalism.
Well, it's like herbs and herbalism are a part of nature, a part of life, and a part of the right of each individual to live an authentic life in relationship to nature, in relationship to plants, in relationship to their own body. I mean, it's a right of a human being to have a garden. It's a right of a human being to have people in their life who are interested in helping them be healthy, not just somebody who is going to support a corporation with finances for products that are distant from a relationship with themselves. In my work with natural medicine, it's based on relationship. It's based upon knowing a person very deeply as a practitioner, as a teacher. It's about understanding how to educate somebody about their own body, their own health. It's about the richness of human life, really, which is relationship, whether it's with nature, whether it's with your own body, whether it's with other people. And this whole idea of herbal medicine being a threat somehow, that there's something people have to be protected from, that it's something that corporations and governments are seriously trying to take away from people. I mean, it's like I ask the question, why? What is the reason why you would want to separate people from a relationship to which thousands and thousands of years and part of many societies has been there to help people?
So why do you think that right for the individual to study herbalism, etc., would be taken away in the first place? Why do you think that there seems to be a continued threat to the way people choose to treat themselves?
Well, it's a cultural imperative, it seems, at the moment to disassociate individuals. The television, the media, computers, iPhones, everything is about disassociation. Not that those things are wrong in themselves, but to take away the right of an individual to become independently healthy, to have the time and the energy and the faith and the belief that they have a relationship with their own body and the right to be healthy. It does mean that you have to give time and energy to your own being, to your own self. And so it is a cultural thing that there are forces in the universe that seem to want to take away the possibility of people having an authentic life or deep relationships. For myself, I believe that when we have health challenges, we have an enormous opportunity to find out more about who we are, find out more about life, find out about our choices. And so if we have these illnesses happen, it's an incredible opportunity for growth as a human being. And actually, I just returned to Cambridge this week, and a funeral of somebody that I have known for over 25 years, who 12 years, almost 15 years ago actually, came, and he was diagnosed at that time with 2 or 3 months to live with lymphoma and various forms of cancer. And he lived 15 years longer with the right diet, with natural herbs, which to me are food. Herbs grow in gardens, they're food. And because they're concentrated food, they give us more energy when we need them. But if you look at the history of England, for instance, the kitchen garden has always been there. The herbs have always been there. And every wise woman who ran a household had the kitchen garden and everything there to be used, just as they do in India with spices. If you go to India, not that every woman in India now does it, but in the past there was the spices, and they all have influences as a kind of medicine. If a member of the family had an illness, that spice went in their food, or they got a certain drink or a certain tea. I mean, this is nutrient, this is natural, and why should it be taken away from us? Why should things that grow become suddenly suspect? And then, I'm not a political person in that sense. I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, I'm a practitioner, I'm somebody who helps people understand their own body and their own life. And my work has been based on that kind of truth, and I think that this is a particular right that I would want to preserve. And as time goes by, the quality of students that I attract to the School of Natural Medicine just becomes better and better, because there are incredibly fine people in this world, who really seek the truth. And I think that that is the issue at the very beginning and the very end, is what is truth? And how do we wish to live? And what are our choices? What are our priorities? What are we going to do with the gift of life? Are we going to spend it watching television? Or are we going to actually live fully and explore the potential of our human existence, our mind, our heart? And, face also, our passing from this world.
What do you think's behind individuals trying to put obstacles in the way of herbal medicine?
Well, it's this growth of vast organizations that seem to believe that bigger is better. And I'm a great believer in the grassroots. I like to buy my food at a small organic garden. I hardly ever go to a supermarket in America. And in Boulder we have wonderful, wonderful people growing absolutely fantastic food. And so I find I need herbs less and less. The more that I have my green foods, my juices, my energy soup made of wonderful things, and raw living food that's, been grown really beautifully, the less I need to think about medicine, even herbal medicine.
Let your food be your medicine.
Yes, but it still very much is a part of my life. At least 2 or 3 times a year I like to take herbs and, cleanse my system.
So what would you recommend for a spring clean?
Well, I like to do my favorite formulas for the lymph, the bowel, the liver, the kidneys. I always just think, start with the eliminative channels and give the body a chance to cleanse at the same time as be nourished, and to have a kind of light diet or juices. And I like green soups. I've grown to love kale. And in our classes in natural medicine and healing diets, we learn about how to work with all those foods. And incredible healing stories just by changing diet, because I don't think there's been any culture in the entire world that has ever had food that isn't food. And this is a serious problem, that people are eating food that isn't food.